try this again. It's at this time with my headphones in and see what we get. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the questions that I had the other day, but unfortunately, because of technical difficulties, for some reason YouTube doesn't appreciate, or I have no idea what they're doing, but it seems to be cutting my videos out and I don't understand why it's doing that. So I'm going to try something else now where I actually put my audio phones in at the same time. Right now I can hear just fine. There's no issue whatsoever. And I don't understand why, but it seems to be just fine right now. So we'll keep going with that. All right. So these are the questions that I received. So I'm going to go ahead and read them off 1 through 5, and we'll have a discussion about them. So, what was the most challenging year of college? So, for my undergrad, I would say is my first year. I had to learn to read and write at a proficient level for university, and that was extremely difficult for me. I basically spent pretty much the first 2.5 semesters of my college life inside of the reading lab and the writing lab to get myself to the level of where I needed to be at. And on top of that, the first year I had a writing class, and then the second semester, if I remember correctly, it was an argumentative writing class. So I had to figure that out, and I was in the writing lab a lot. So those two things were a huge change for me compared to high school. To be honest with you, I don't know about you guys, but that for me personally, that's what I had. And to be honest with you, for the master's degree that I did, the most difficult part was the thesis, obviously, because it's not an easy thing to do and do lots of read and writing. And to be honest, just reading so much just academic material and things of that nature and peer reviewed sources and things like that, it's extremely dry. It's nice that it's fun to have a thesis. I would say it's great. It's exciting and everything. But the problem is trying to find peer-reviewed sources that argue for and then obviously argue against as well, trying to figure out if anyone can poke holes in what you're trying to do. And it's just extremely taxing and very difficult to take that in all the consideration. And even then, people still find holes in things. So that's very interesting and frustrating at the same time, because you spend so much time reading and writing and trying to sort out what you're doing as a thesis. So both of those two things were very challenging for me, and hopefully there'll be a lot of discussion about that in the comments. I would really forward to it. So the second question that I have here is, what do you think about smartwatches? Better old school or smartwatch? So for me, I would prefer to have an old school watch, and I'll tell you why. It, for me, not many people wear them anymore, so that's why I enjoy wearing them, to be honest with you. The second thing is a lot of smartwatches keep you updated on your phone. They keep you notifications, people text you, people call you. And the interest of not always being plugged in all the time, I don't think it benefits me in any way to constantly be plugged in. It doesn't do any benefit for me. Matter of fact, it's distracting to me. So I prefer to have a way to not be constantly plugged in. I don't know about you all, but that's what I see. Matter of fact, I have 1 second here. I have one right here, and I've never even opened the box. And this is for exercising. And I know some people, they use smartwatches. For example, exercising, it makes sense if you're using it as a pedometer, if you're using it for blood pressure, using it for heart rate, things like that. Obviously, I'm using it for physical activity. It makes perfect sense to use that because a standard watch is not going to give that to you, generally speaking, unless it's, I don't know, this, generally speaking, it's not going to give you all those functions. And if that's what you're doing for your fitness goals and exercise, for me, it makes perfect sense to use that as a resource. So I would definitely recommend that. This obviously just depends on the situation, obviously. Even for me, I have an old Seiko XKX that I use when I exercise. I don't even use a smartwatch. So take with that what you will. And also, it is a little different when everyone else is wearing suit and tie or anything, just even a casual outfit. Everyone's wearing a smartwatch and you're not. You tend to stand out. So there is that as well. And just keep that in mind, I would suppose. The third question that I have is, what is one style rule you swear by and one you think is okay to break? So the one that I swear by is to make sure that every piece of clothing that you have is ironed. I don't care what anyone says. If it's not ironed and it's not pressed, it doesn't look very nice, in my opinion. And when I say that, I'll say that with a caveat as this as well, is sometimes an iron is not available to you. It doesn't take very much to get a steamer. So there's also steamers as well. And that can take wrinkles out of clothes. It doesn't press them, but it gets rid of the wrinkles out of the clothes and sometimes folds depending on what fabric it is. And it just presents much better than anything that you could possibly do. And this is strictly my opinion. It's just much better. And I think that the clothing actually fits better in the fabric. It just makes the outfit so much better because you can look at something and go, that looks like a trash bag. That doesn't look okay. I'm just strictly not a fan of it and totally understand why. And the next thing is which one do you think is okay to break? So, oh dear. So for me, trying to think. I would say accessories. Some people are accessories, and another thing that I would say, actually, for me personally, is my pockets. So a lot of guys, they will put stuff in bags. They'll put stuff in other carry-ons and things of that nature. I like to have things in my pockets, and I'll tell you why. Because I have a tendency to lose something that's not in my pocket, regardless if I put it in a bag or something else. I just strictly have a tendency to lose things if it's not in my pockets. So if you watch a lot of my videos, you'll see things in my pockets. And that's for the specific reason of what I just said, because I have a tendency to lose them. I know if they're in my pockets, they're going to be in my pockets and they're not going to go anywhere. So that's one of the style rules, is not have too much in your pockets, real slim, not just, it messes with the silhouette. And for me personally, I find it much more beneficial to have things in my pockets because of how I am as a person. So take with that what you will. Fourth question. If you could only keep 3 items in your wardrobe, what would they be? All right. Number 1, I would say my glasses. However, I'm going to exclude that for the list for this reason, because without without my glasses, I cannot see. So it's even on my driver's license. Like, I have to have glasses in order to drive. So my eyesight, for obvious reasons, I have to have my glasses. So I'm going to exclude that from this list because I don't think that's what they're asking. And that's literally something I can't live without because I can't see without my glasses. So, yeah, so I'm not going to include that. All right, so it has me 3 items. So, number 1, I would say my shoes. I love nice shoes, to be honest with you, regardless if they're casual or elegant, whatever. I just enjoy to have nice shoes. I don't have very many shoes, and it's for that reason. I'd rather have a few shoes than a whole bunch of shoes that I don't wear. So, please do keep that in mind when I'm talking about it. And to be honest with you, I'm so excited about just anytime I get to wear nice shoes. I really do enjoy it. And it's so different because everyone's wearing dudes and Crocs and all kinds of stuff. And that's just something that I don't care for or don't like. And I have the option to wear things that I enjoy. So I would definitely say my shoes. The second thing is trousers. I love the trousers that I have, the dress pants that I have. I really do enjoy those quite a bit. And I do like them a lot. And I think that by having them tailored the way that I do, it is very functional to my lifestyle. And I would wish that on anybody, honestly. So that would be the second thing I would say. The third thing I would say is accessories. I'm not wearing any right now because I'm home, but I am a fan of bracelets and rings and watches and things like that. So honestly, I don't know if I could live without them, because for me, every time I look down, it reminds me of something about me, whether my wife gave it to me, my fraternity, events that I've experienced while wearing a certain item of jewelry, things like that. There's a reason why I have a difficult time if I ever had to part with it, because it's just been such a huge part of my life that I've enjoyed it. So there is that, in my opinion, that I think is a huge factor into why I picked that as a third item. All right, so let's go to the next question, which is the last question. What do you think, or which do you think matters more for great style? Fit, fabric, or accessories? So I'm going to leave this with a caveat right now. Accessories I will put last. And the reason why is because it's in addition to something. For example, jewelry, you don't really need it. It's not a base. It's just an add-on to what's already there, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put accessories as last. The next thing I'm going to put is fabric. Fabric depends on the season and what you're doing in your daily vocations in your life. So, for example, if you live in a hot climate, you're going to have fabrics that are linen or breathable. If you live in a cold climate, you're going to have fabrics that are warming, obviously, like tweed, for example, or jackets or wool that is made for that environment. Then most important thing of any clothes that you have is fit. So it doesn't matter what fabric it is. If it doesn't fit well in your body for whatever reason, it just doesn't work. It's not going to work. It's not going to look nice. You're going to feel uncomfortable with it. And I think many people don't realize this. If you feel uncomfortable in any piece of clothing that you have or you don't like it, it's going to carry through when you're presenting yourself to the world. So just keep that in mind. If you don't feel good in it as far as fit wise, you're probably not going to wear it. You're probably not going to like it. So what's the point of entertaining it, if that makes sense? It's much better just to have something that fits your body. And I'll give you a perfect thing for me personally. So for example, Hawaiian shirts. I haven't done a video on this. It's called Kahala shirts. So I bought many different kinds of Hawaiian shirts. I love Hawaiian shirts, which is why I'm wearing one right now, because it's a holiday. So of course I do like to wear Hawaiian shirts as a casual thing. And to be honest with you, Kahala is the best. And the reason why I say that is because it's not a slim fit. It is not like a classic fit where it's drapey. It fits me just right, if that makes sense. It fits me perfectly. My arms, my shoulders, my waist. I just love the way that the shirt fits. And to be honest with you, that's a great example of that. And I haven't made a YouTube video about that brand yet, but I will eventually whenever I get a wireless microphone. But as an example of what I'm talking about, and for example, another example that may relate to you, if you live in a cold climate, if you put a jacket on that's too tight, that doesn't account for other clothing layers you may have on, it's not going to feel very comfortable and you're not going to be able to move very much. However, on the contrary to that, if you have one that's too large, it's going to feel like floating on you and you're going to have a hard time holding it on your body and also trying to keep the warmth in. So just consider it like that. It needs to be a piece of you, a part of you, functional for whatever it is that you're doing. So I would consider fit the most out of all of those. All right, guys, I gave it a shot. I'm going to see what I can do here. Hopefully I upload this and the audio is fine. We'll see. We'll check it out. So I'm using my headphones for the first time. So we'll see. I've been monitoring the audio the entire time and I don't think there's been any issue whatsoever. So hopefully this time we're good. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for following my channel. I'm going to have my Instagram and Patreon down in the description there. And thank you guys very much. And I look forward to seeing you guys more often. And thank you all very much and have a wonderful day.